You're about to listen to TADPOG. Tyler and Dave play old games. It's a comedy video game podcast. We would like to stress that the hosts are not experts and are really just very crass commentators. Seriously, this is an explicit podcast that happens to talk about video games sometimes. So please enjoy this pretty okay podcast with Tyler and Dave.
Hello. 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 Hello, Internet. It's the TADPOG Show.
I don't get it.
What's the? Are we changing the way we introduce the show now? Is that?
Hello, Internet.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Hello.
And welcome to a little artisanal homespun podcast. Tyler and Dave and play old games.
Done up.
Established 2012.
Hell
Done up
yeah.
all in pink.
And today we're going to talk about the Pink Panther 2006 movie and Pink Goes to Hollywood, the SNES game.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. But before we dive into the Pink Steve Martiny goodness,
I love his pink. He's got the best.
Steve's got the best pink.
Best pink.
It's the right shade of pink.
Yeah, it's good.
which is rare in a 70-year-old man.
Nah.
Nah,
You'd be
it's just-
surprised.
It gets better. Trust me.
What you guys been up to?
A couple weeks ago, I mentioned a show I started on Netflix called Black Doves
Yeah, I remember you talking about that one.
with my former girlfriend, Keira Knightley.
Right.
Yeah. So I finished that season. It's only like 6 or 7 episodes. It's a really short season, but the episodes are like an hour long. I really, really, really liked the show. I'm giving it a solid 4 stars. I do recommend you check it out. Again, it's kind of dry British spycraft, but it's really well written and it's really well acted. So yeah, that's a good one. Did y'all ever watch Dexter?
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
So, have you heard about this new show, Dexter Original Sin, the prequel series?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
I'll watch it.
They did a second Dexter series called New Blood.
Which I liked.
I never really watched it.
I didn't watch it.
because
I
I was
liked
kind of done with Dexter at that
Same.
point, and we watched through all of the original Dexter, and I was so sick of Dexter, I just didn't want to keep watching New Blood. We had
I
it
get it.
timed out to watch it, right after we finished. So I got the gist of it, and I know what happens. This is a prequel series, so this is telling the story of how Dexter got his start as Dexter, and sort of it picks up like about where he's graduating from high school, about that age when things start to get a little harder for him to resist. And Christian Slater plays his dad. Which is a good choice. He's doing a good job. We watched the first episode this past weekend. It's coming out weekly. It's on Showtime / Paramount Plus with Showtime or your streaming platform of choice. We watched it. I enjoyed it. It felt a lot more like original Dexter, but fresh.
Yeah.
And it had different people, but it's all these people playing the younger version of all the characters
Casting's
you already
crazy.
know. Yeah, it's nuts.
They all look really good.
They look really good, and the girl that plays Deb, his sister, she did her fucking homework because she has got Deb down to a T. Young Deb, with the foul mouth and the over dramatic and everything. Just it's really good so far. I've enjoyed it. The first episode was a lot of fun. So I do recommend you check it out if you're a fan of the original Dexter series, because it takes place in Miami. It's just, New Blood was in a completely different place where it was cold and snowy and everything else. And this one takes place in Miami where the original series, fully took place. So it just feels more at home, more like home. So definitely check that one out. I'll update as I watch more of those. Landman on Paramount Plus. I don't know if you've heard of this. It's a new Taylor Sheridan joint, the guy that makes Yellowstone and Tulsa King.
Seen a
and,
lot of TikTok clips.
Yeah, and he also does Mayor of Kingstown, which I've mentioned, starring Jeremy Renner. This one stars Billy Bob Thornton.
It's Billy Bob Thorniest.
At his thorniest
shit.
ever. It's truly
He's playing Sling Blade again.
almost not quite. He's just, but his dialogue in this show is as on point for Billy Bob as you could possibly hope to get. And he plays a land rights manager for an oil company in Texas, whose family is, he's divorced and he's got a daughter and a son, and the son comes down to work for him and stuff. And it's John Hamm, Demi Moore, the girl from Final Destination, Ollie Larder is in it. All these pretty good cast, pretty strong cast. About 2 or 3 episodes into that.
I always think Allie Larder from Heroes first.
Well, there you go, Ollie Larder from Heroes.
The very strong woman from
Yeah. But so far, I'm enjoying that as well. Recommend it if you like any of Taylor Sheridan's stuff.
I guess she's whipped cream bikini girl too from Varsity Blues.
Yeah.
For other millennial listeners,
Right. If you like any of his stuff, this is just right on brand for him, and it's good. Billy Bob is at his finest, and I'm a huge fan of Billy Bob Thornton anyway. So really good shit. Watched a lot of stuff this week. I caught up on Don to Don and Ranma.
I'm caught up on Don to Don. I need to catch up on Ranma.
Ranma got me. Ranma's good this week. The absolute epitome of will they, won't they, at its absolute most tense. But this is a good show. I've really, really been getting into it.
Don to Don and Ranma both kind of have a real similar vibe.
They do. They really do.
In that they're both romance shows that really lean heavy on action.
Action, yeah. Absolutely. And where Don to Don is more supernatural, Ranma is more of a competitive sports kind of deal.
Right.
And They it's like they find a way to work ice skating, fighting, and ice skating competitively.
Right.
It's like so.
I love. It's like
crazy, but it's fun.
It's Ranma's designed so well. And it's crazy, not crazy, but it's impressive that it was done so long ago. Where it is very much a show where it's like, this is a show for young women and young men to watch. Yeah. And it is like done in a way where it's like it's not trying to hide that.
No, they're not.
Or it's like, we're going to combine ice, like figure skating,
but
with martial arts.
Martial arts. Yeah. It's fun for the family.
Yeah.
Except there's a bunch of nudity.
Right.
So maybe not the whole family.
But old school.
But it's like old
nudity,
school anime nudity.
They're like Barbie doll.
They're Barbie dolls. There's no nipples or genitals.
Right.
It doesn't really matter though, because the ladies in this show are shaped just right. So anyway, I've really been enjoying that. I watched a movie over the weekend called Rare Exports: A Christmas Tale. This is a horror film on Shudder. This was directed by Jalmari Helander, who directed the movie Sisu, which I think I've mentioned before.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, this one surprised the shit out of me. It was really, really good.
I wanna get Shudder. I've really been
get Shudder.
The last 2 weeks. I've been honestly, really since Halloween.
Yeah,
it's been like, man, I want to get Shudder.
It's still so cheap. It's $7 a month. You've got a pretty good catalog in there, and then Joe Bob. Now Joe Bob is only seasonal right now, but during the summer, because it's based on like being at the drive-in, you only see Joe Bob every weekend in the summer. But he'll do Christmas and Halloween and Easter and all those holidays. He'll come out and do a special, and he usually shows 2 movies. This week he showed this one, Rare Exports, and then he also showed It's a Wonderful Knife, which is another great Christmas slasher that I think I've mentioned on the show before. Rare Exports is a movie that takes place in Finland. And the concept of this movie is that there's this guy digging on this giant mountain, and he's digging because in Finland, Santa Claus isn't a good dude. He's a guy that comes around and takes children into his sack. He's a demon. He's a horrible thing.
The Krampus, or
it's not
separate?
Billy Bob Thornton, Joe Bob Briggs.
I was about to say, holy shit, he's back.
He's not in this. Joe Bob Briggs said, this guy, the Finnish Santa makes Krampus look like a pussy.
Gotcha.
Like,
okay.
He's like 30 feet tall with horns and
It's like an ogre.
kidnaps children, and he sends his elves, which are actually like naked old men, to that knock on the
Nice.
door.
Hell yeah.
To go
Nice.
knock on the door.
All pink and
Steve
shit.
Martins.
All these pink Steve Martins.
10 naked Steve Martins.
Way older than that. But this little kid starts. It turns out that they're digging for. In the lore, Santa was captured and killed and buried on this mound and frozen solid.
This sounds awesome.
And this one dude is trying to dig up Santa's body, and chaos ensues. I don't want to get more into it, but
Yeah,
it's
please don't.
just a super good, satisfying. It's on my list of must-watch Christmas movies now every year.
How old is it?
It was done in, I want to say it was like 2010.
Okay,
It's
so
recent.
it's not like a
It's a fairly recent
weird
movie.
70s
No,
thing.
I
Okay.
thought this was going to be a weird 70s foreign film.
It sounds like. I mean, based on
It
everything you
does.
said, I'm picturing in my mind.
but
yeah.
it is not that,
70s.
and that's one of the things that pleased me so much.
Yeah,
And
sure.
the little boy who's sort of the protagonist of the film is fucking amazing. I want everybody to watch this one because it's a lot of fun, and it's just got a really great vibe to it.
Rare exports.
Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale.
Okay.
4 stars. Doesn't say, it says check it out. The next thing I watched is a movie on Netflix called Carry On, as in Carry On Luggage, starring Taron Egerton and Jason Bateman. And it's a lot like the movie Phone Booth.
Okay.
A guy who works for the TSA. He's kind of a TSA rookie, kind of a ne'er-do-well. Receives an earbud through the scanner, and it has a note. And then he gets a call from an anonymous number that says, "Put this in your ear right now." And he puts it in his ear, and it's Jason Bateman, and he says, somebody's going to be bringing a suitcase through, and if you don't let it pass without incident, we're going to kill your pregnant girlfriend. And so it's very tense and it's a pretty good movie. It's kind of like Die Hard 2 meets Phone Booth, starring Colin Farrell. A lot of suspense, a lot of really good action, and a very satisfying story. So 3.5 stars. Was and say just check it out. I do enjoy that one a whole lot. The last thing media related that I was going to mention is Brew Pounder mentioned in the Discord this audiobook called Morningwood. Everybody Loves Large Chests.
Hell yeah.
This movie takes place in one of these worlds. It's like just everyone's a dungeon and crawler adventurer, and they have stats, and it pops up stats in front, kind of like Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Sure.
Only it's the world. It's not like some dude taken into this system. It's
Right.
just the way the system is for the people on whatever world this is.
Okay.
The story centers around a mimic, a low-level like mimic, who accidentally levels up, like through a glitch in whatever system is being run. He levels up and starts to become aware that he's getting more powerful, and so he starts to grow in his stats and kills people by taking he just eats them, and then he absorbs he gets more skilled, and then by sheer moments of luck, he gains like a warlock skill, and he can cast spells, and he starts to grow and he goes on this killing spree, and then all the people in the dungeon world are like not sure what the fuck is going on. He learns how to grow legs and walk around, and it's also very sexually explicit. As Brew Pounder found out the hard way, apparently he started listening to this book with his 6-year-old and found out, as I did, that very quickly this is not a book for children by any stretch of the imagination, by the violence and gore in it alone. But then the sexual stuff happens and it's like, okay. I'm kind of really glad I didn't make that mistake listening to it in the car with my grandson in there or something.
It's a mimic, so I'm assuming there's a lot of gore.
Yeah. But
Well, I've heard people are kind of getting that by watching Wicked the movie and be like, oh, I want to read the book, which has lots of weird sex shit in it.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
What kind of weird sex shit does it have in it?
Because there are animals with a capital A and animals with a lowercase a.
All right.
So basically,
These are bestiality. These are not.
Yep.
Is that what's going on?
yep.
Yeah.
So there's lots of weird animal sex when they go to like,
Wait, you told me you were a capital A animal.
Moo.
No.
weird description of like Elphaba's pubes and vagina in the book,
About what?
or the Wicked Witch.
Oh, okay.
Her name is Elphaba.
Oh, okay. I thought this was like like what's an elphaba? Is that where like an elf has sex with a mouse? But the mouse lies about whether it's a capital A or lowercase a?
The author took Frank L. Baum and made it Elphaba and named the Wicked Witch because she doesn't canonically have a name.
Okay.
So they just call her Elphaba in the series.
And what about her pubes?
That her pubes are purple. And they really want you to know her pubes are purple.
Like
in
the first
book.
line of the book.
They make a whole thing out of the fact that Elphaba is green.
Okay.
And it's not, obviously it's a little bit unusual.
I mean, as
even
far-
though there are literally half animal people
Right,
running around,
sure.
they make a big fucking deal about the
I've seen
fact.
Wizard of Oz. I'm not too taken aback that there's a green person. But
And there's this whole I saw Wicked in New York on Broadway. They don't talk about her pubes in the Broadway show.
is there a song about it? And my pubes are purple.
Yeah, so
Everyone stands up.
have you not seen it? 'Cause
No.
you got it right on the money. It's
Oh, good. That's good. I'm just smart.
No, they don't do that.
Oh, Broadway Dave.
Yeah, I have a gift.
as we like to call him. But
Nah, I really like it, but it does have some weird sex shit in it.
I was
though.
gonna listen to
especially the
Wicked, actually.
third one in the series about the Cowardly Lion, where he
Comes in
color
Elphaba's
is-
butt.
well, he has sex with another cat much smaller than him and ruins her vagina and is hunted for it, and it graphically describes how he ruined the vagina that was not
that's-
sized for a lion.
Yeah, that
Like,
is weird.
So,
That is odd. Wonder what the author was like. What's the metaphor there?
yeah, I don't know. Because the second one didn't have shit like second one, Son of Oz, totally didn't have that shit in it. But 1 and 3 are fucking weird, and 3 was so weird and so bad I didn't continue on.
Yeah.
Like I stopped there. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
out. I'm out, man.
I cannot come in my car again.
It would have been different if it still would have been a good book, despite that. But it was
Yeah,
it was a
it's bad.
shitty book. I feel
Well-
like he got really lucky with Wicked, and then tried to stretch it out, and it just didn't work.
What color were the cat's pubes?
golden. The
Red with blood.
red with lots of bits of skin and blood in it, apparently.
Fun. I love, what's the like crime scene investigation like for like in Oz? Where it's like, yeah, it looks
Munchkins at
like
the crime scene.
the cavity looks to be shaped like a lion's penis.
There's this,
I'd know a lion's dick anywhere.
there's this one scene in Morningwood where there's this like necromancer woman who gets off on torturing animals, and she's like,
Like the
her
Cowardly Lion.
party leaves her. Her party leaves her behind, and in the dungeon, and she's also like doing like training up animal husbandry, like animal training and stuff, and because her thing is that she wants to find monsters and animals in the dungeon that she can tame and then torture because that's her thing. And she gets to thinking about it and starts masturbating right there in the dungeon. And then the mimic, the mimic has accidentally figured out how to use a sword and stabs her through the base of the neck and kills her and then eats her while she's masturbating. But it goes into this big, long description.
Just marinating, baby.
Yeah. It goes into this big, long description of her masturbating.
Like my meat with some gravy.
And then suddenly, this was interrupted by the thrusting of a sword through the base of her neck and coming out of her mouth. And it was kind of weird, just off-putting. But it's a fun book. It's not good. It's not good. It's fun though.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying it, but it's not a good book. I had a credit to burn.
Yeah.
Because I've already pre-bought the Dungeon Crawler Carl book.
Right.
With
me too.
one of my credits. And I had 2 left. I was like, fuck. I'll give this a shot. And I'm enjoying it, but it's not a good book. It's just silly. And it's good in the fact that it's different and silly, but like there's points at which, like for the first half or the first maybe quarter of the book, it's read by the same people that read the Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the guy that narrates Dungeon Crawler Carl and does all the voices, he does this too.
I see.
And this company does a lot of these types of books.
Okay.
And so they'll go into that thing where he's reading off stats, and it goes on and on and on. And I'm like, okay, get to the point,
Yeah.
At some point, they say, at some point, it's almost like they'll give you the cue. You can skip this. They'll say you can skip to the next section, and you won't miss anything. And then that section is when he's reading off all the stats.
Damn. Does it go on for a while?
It's not too bad.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's a couple of minutes usually. It's
Good
not
Lord.
that bad.
That's too much for me.
But it's a lot. I mean, I'm saying it doesn't go on for like 20 minutes.
Sure,
It's just,
sure.
But it's enough to be like, okay, come on.
Be a great way to pad a book, though, wouldn't it?
It would. Morning wood. Everyone loves large chests. I'm gonna probably read the next one in the series too, just because.
Yeah.
I just.
Well, if you're having fun reading it.
Yeah, I'm having a good time.
It sounds to me like, would you describe this as a guilty pleasure?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Dungeon Crawler Carl to me was a great book, a great series. I've really enjoyed those. I'm going to go through it again before I listen to the new one. But this is just a guilty pleasure. And it's got some cool sex stuff in it, which is fun.
Nice.
You don't usually get that kind of thing in the books.
Yeah.
That's all for the media I've consumed. Over the weekend, I traveled to Evansville, Indiana, to have lunch with my grandmother and my dad and stepmom, and both my sons and my grandson came with, and we all went to visit because my grandmother just turned 95.
I was going to ask how old she is.
She's 95, so we went and had dinner or lunch with them. Very brief lunch because it was like we drove for 2.5 hours, had lunch at 11, and we're back on the road by like 12.
Yeah.
And there was a bunch of people there. So,
Yeah.
but she's old and she didn't want to see out. And
Yeah.
she was like, well, you should, because she lives in Henderson, which is just over the bridge from Evansville. And she was like, well, you should come over to the house because my dad and stepmom were going to go and stay there overnight before they went back. But everybody's scheduled. Miles had to get back to work, and it was just a bunch. So we had to leave. I would have liked to have stayed and visited because my grandmother was fucking thrilled to see us all together again. So this is like 5 generations, My grandmother, my father, me, my oldest son, my youngest son, and my grandson, all in the same room. Tanya didn't come, and she was like, no, listen, I want you to be careful. You've got my entire family in the car with you. I'm like, trust me, I know. I will be careful. You'll wipe out the channels all at once.
Yeah, we've had that discussion before, too, where we're like, we've been driving and realize, oh, shit, there are 4 generations in this.
Yep. And we could just end the line right here. But we had we ate at a place called Bonefish Grill, which is really good.
I'm familiar with Bonefish, yeah.
They had an appetizer there called Bang Bang Shrimp, and this was like really good shrimp with tempura crunchies on it, with this like spicy sauce. That
Next time I do that in the cafe, I'll tell you, and you can come.
Do you make it?
We do. Yep.
Oh shit! Yeah, you got to tell me because I loved it. I had my first ever like true. It was ahi tuna sashimi, which was really good.
Fucking love it.
Really enjoyed
Yeah.
that. I've never had that before, so I was really fond of that. And then of course I went with the good old grilled salmon for my meal
Can't go
and
wrong.
some crispy potatoes, and it was a good meal. I really enjoyed it. If you're ever in Evansville and you want some seafood, Bonefish Grill is a good place to visit.
I think they're known for their beer selection too, like a huge. Beer
I
selection.
I just had club soda because I had to get back out on the road, so we didn't drink. And plus, it was like 11 o'clock in the morning, so it wasn't time to get started drinking just yet. But, yeah, Bonefish Grill, and happy birthday, Grandma, 95 years old.
Hell yeah.
She listens.
Happy birthday.
She doesn't. She would if I asked her to, if she could figure out how.
Yeah.
Finally, they're talking about Morningwood. About
Yeah.
time.
Would she like it or not?
No.
Yeah, I kind of figured maybe. I didn't want to assume, but I kind of figured she probably didn't want to hear about
She wouldn't-
the cowardly lion ruining a vagina of a
No,
cat
she
whose
wouldn't.
pubes are golden.
She wouldn't like that at all. But anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. What'd you get up to this week, Dave?
I played some of that Marvel Rivals game that you talked about
Yes.
last
Patty's
episode.
all about
I did
it. It's
not
all
get a
she's
chance.
done since she got home for Christmas break.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to get in on that as I wanted to over the past week, just too busy. But my plan is to get in and play some. What'd you think?
I liked it. I don't think it's a game I'm probably going to play for a very long time, but I liked it. I like playing Rocket because that is like straight up. That's my lane where it's like, oh, if I just want to heal this whole thing, I can do that, and it's easy to do,
Right.
Because it's like you have to aim to heal, but you don't have to aim well to
Right.
heal.
And
You
I
can just
know
kind of
his-
point your fucking healing gun in a general direction of somebody and be like, "You're
That
healed."
sounds like Juno actually on Overwatch. Does I heard that his ult is like a res, or you can resurrect someone.
It's
or-
it's an ability of his. You can, which isn't great in my opinion. You drop a what's called like a BRB machine,
Oh yeah,
and it dispenses armor packs, and then you get one res out of it.
okay.
But it comes off cooldown. I mean, not fast enough.
Right.
When someone dies and that's used up, it's like, well, shit. I sure wish this was off cooldown.
Right.
But his ultimate is, I don't like his ultimate that much. It's like a damage buff.
Oh, okay.
For like your party, and it's fine. I shouldn't say I don't like it, but what I don't like when I play Marvel Rivals, which is the thing that happens all the time and probably happens in Overwatch 2 as well.
Yeah, Overwatch 2 as well. Uh-huh.
Is like as Rocket, I feel like I'm typically if we're playing against a team that is good, I'm typically the target of all the ultimates.
Yeah. Support gets the shaft a lot. They get targeted because it's
Sure.
it's rule 1 in Overwatch. If you need to attack the back line
Right.
and take the healers out. So if the healers are out, they can't heal.
Right, I get it,
Yeah.
but it's also not
it
fun.
sucks
It's not
being the-
fun to like die to an ultimate, spawn, come back, and then die to another ultimate.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, they're doing this on purpose.
Yep.
Like they're staggering them, so
I agree.
that the support's constantly locked out,
Right.
and it's like, oh well, all right.
Yeah, that does suck. Ugh.
But yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, I have complaints about it. I've talked about it on the Discord a little bit. There are times playing as Rocket where I've been beaten to death by the Hulk who is behind me. I didn't know it was happening.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like I should know.
You're not getting any sort of cue that
Yeah.
you're getting destroyed.
It's like I'm
Yeah.
being punched by the Hulk.
right. There needs
And
to
I'm
be
just
something going.
oblivious to the fact that I'm being punched by the Hulk. It seems like a fucking problem. So yeah, a lot of the stuff doesn't really feel impactful like it should be.
Yeah.
And it's really funny to like, because there are a lot of melee characters in the game, because there are a lot of brawlers and comic books.
Right.
And it's funny to see like a big group of like 4 of them just like hitting each other, and it's like I guess to avoid clipping or whatever, it just looks like they're kind of like bouncing off of each other slightly.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's fun. I've enjoyed it enough to play like 9 hours.
Okay.
I've put into it. It has made me a little curious about Overwatch, but I think the thing that's hurting Overwatch, maybe I'm not an expert, but for me, it's like, yeah, Overwatch 2 might be better, but like that's super established and this isn't. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, I guess if I suck at this game, Marvel Rivals, I won't feel as bad as sucking at Overwatch 2.
Which has been around for 8 years.
Right.
Has a very niche following. Yeah, I get that. But if you decide you want to get in, I know a guy who
I was
plays a lot.
tempted. I was tempted to message you and honestly ask you the question, what character in Overwatch is most like Rocket in Marvel Rivals?
When I get a little bit more Marvel Rivals time, I'll have a better idea of who's like what, because a lot of them are like Rocket will be like this and this.
Yeah, meshed
as opposed
together.
to being
Right.
one kind of copy. It's sort of, we sort of assimilated this feature from this one and this from that.
Yeah.
But what in the few little bit I saw was that way.
I just selected Rocket because he was listed as a is it strategist or tactician?
strategist.
Whatever the support class is. He is a support class and like difficulty 1 star. And it's like, and I like Rocket. It's like, this is like, okay, that's three.
I do like how they tell you, because you don't really get that in Overwatch. Some of the characters are a lot harder to play than others, and it's not really apparent like which ones are better if you're just starting and ones that are more advanced. But
he's cool. You can like scramble up walls, and he's got a jetpack that you can use to, like, there are mobility abilities in the game, but his he gets like 2 he can use in a row, and then the cooldown's pretty quick. So he's squishy, but it's fun to play as him because like you can, like, I mean, I was talking about how annoyed I was, dying to an ultimate every time I'd spawn, but it's also a lot of fun to like completely distract and troll a person, where it's like I can heal but also like annoy, like I can shoot Iron Man,
right,
and just like get his attention and try to like pull him and then go in the fucking tunnel where he can't get me and stuff, you know what I mean, and just just annoy.
My thought on that is it's probably Juno, who is probably the most like Rocket.
Okay,
if I had to guess.
Okay. So because of Marvel Rivals, I got a subscription to Marvel Unlimited because I got in the mood to like read some comics.
Okay.
But I was like, I don't want to buy comics.
Right.
And I was like, well, I could get like trade paperbacks, and it's like, no, I don't want to do that either. I just want to pay $10 to read comics for a month, get tired of it, and then cancel. Yeah. So that's also nice because I can kind of go and like just pick and choose, where it's like, well, I feel like reading some Deadpool, I can read that for a bit, and then I don't know, jump to like some Spider-Man comics that I haven't thought about in like ages, and so that's pretty cool. Caught up with Dan. I played a little bit of a game called it's ELIN. Elin? I don't know how it's pronounced, but some people on YouTube are pronouncing it Ellen, like Ellen DeGeneres.
Okay.
It is I'm not gonna buy the game, but it's interesting enough to like mention. I probably put like maybe 6 hours into it. The reason I was interested in it is because on the surface to me it seemed like Ultima Online kind of, it's a sandboxy RPG, and they're pulling a whole bunch of different things. Like the first thing you're supposed to do is essentially build a homestead. And so that feels to me a little bit like they're pulling from like Stardew Valley and games like that. But what I was really interested in is like all of these things are like skill based. So it's like they're gathering skills that you level up like you would level up a skill in Ultima.
Right.
And it's like, okay, that's interesting. It's all like isometric. I mean, honestly, like even the look of it looked to me like, okay, this is like someone animated up Ultima Online. But it kind of, there's a lot of stuff you have to figure out, which is arguably part of the charm of it. But I was really turned off by like, it's a sandbox RPG, but like when you leave a zone, you kind of go to like an overworld map, and that was really like, damn man, just do it Ultima style, where it's just a fucking like, there's no overworld map. It's just like
Just go.
yeah, because it's like, I don't know, it takes me out when it's like, oh,
see
okay,
that.
now we're in an overworld, okay, and I got to plot my course, and
Nah,
I don't want
I
that.
could see that being frustrating.
And then there's an RPG, a tabletop RPG book I found. Are you guys familiar with the Questing Beast on YouTube?
No.
He's a tabletop RPG YouTuber. He makes good content, and he made a rule book, which is pretty simple. It's cool. I like it. It's like the big takeaway is like how it handles hit points and because it's like you have inventories handled by slots, and you take damage to your hit points. Like when you're in combat, you take damage to your hit points. When your hit points hit 0, you start taking damage to your inventory slots. So it's like, and then certain classes, like there aren't classes. It's classless, but there are things like sneak attack and stuff that's based on like your dexterity score. And those do direct damage, which essentially just damage your inventory slots directly. And the idea is that when you run out of inventory slots, when all the inventory slots are done, you're dead.
Right.
And also when an inventory slot is damaged, you lose whatever you had in that slot.
Right.
So it's like if you had a helmet on your head and you take damage to your head slot, then that you lose that helmet.
Do you have to like roll to decide what slot gets hit, or is it at random?
It goes from top to bottom.
Okay.
So that's the thing where it's like, I'm not done reading the book, and my understanding of it isn't that great. But if that were the case, I think I would like want to house rule that, where it's like, this is the order that shit breaks.
Gotcha.
You know, because to me it makes more sense that it's like the stuff that you're wearing is going to break before like anything that you're carrying on your person, you know, like food rations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it may also be situational. I mean, it could also be fun. Like I've played games like Torchbearer, where it's like Torchbearer is really cool because like if you don't make a successful roll, you can fail a roll. And the game master can still be like, well, it makes sense that you would, or it's more interesting if you succeed in this. And it's not going to eat up game time. Like, for example, if you're trying to like jump over a chasm, you fail the jump check. In D&D, it's like, okay, well, fall down into the chasm and you take damage, and then you got to like figure your way, you know. In Torchbearer, the game master can say, if you fail the roll, they can say, well, it'd probably be a pain in the ass for you to fall down there, and then you guys take 20 minutes to fucking figure that out. So you make it over the chasm, but you lose your shield that you're wearing on the back.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like compromises and stuff like that.
Partial success.
Partial success. Yeah, totally. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Knave, second edition, I think it's pretty neat. And then other than that, just watch some Mystery Science Theater 2000. Final Sacrifice. They're putting a whole bunch of stuff up on YouTube recently. The Final Sacrifice is up there. It's a good one. It's a later one. But that's like a 1990 Canadian independent film. It's really bad.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Tyler? What you been up to?
I got Baldur's Gate 3 working.
Good.
Hell yeah.
Figured out that you're supposed to just, because Reddit was like no help. It was all these very
What?
complicated instructions over what to do.
What? They weren't, they're just making fun of you for not knowing?
Making obscure references to something, a word that you might have said, and then the thread goes on for 100 fucking conversations that have nothing to do with.
Did you read Did you read the pin post?
You gotta read the pin post.
Did you read the pin post?
God. Man.
Then just one YouTube video showed me just to drag their portraits together, and we're good again. So that worked. So I played a lot more of that. And then again, like I wasn't really loving it. And then I realized like Arcane Trickster is just not fun to play. And I changed to a Bard, and I'm having a lot more fun with it.
Did you start over?
No, I just had Withers change my class.
Okay.
So it's just, I thought about starting over, but it's like, man, I really want to start over.
Yeah, I know. I totally get it.
Because I thought, well, maybe I should just do Evangelista, but no. Pudge could be a Bard, it's fine. A lot of similar spells. Plus, I could never figure out if you could actually sneak attack with spells anyway. The sneak attack mechanic's kind of clunky. Or maybe it's just really, really particular, and I feel like I never get it. So
Yeah, I didn't do any spell casting sneak attack, but ranged sneak attacks work.
yeah, those I could get, on again, off again. But yeah, with spells I never could. If you even can, I didn't look it up. But with Bard, now that I can do persuasion and shit like that, and do well, it's like way better.
Oh yeah,
way better.
Yeah, having social skills. And
Yeah,
that
like
game
it's
is
like
a
Fallout.
lot of
I don't
fun.
like playing a Fallout without social skills.
Yeah.
So now I have a lot more fun with it.
Yeah, good.
I think my internet was worked on today, so I did a little test stream for an hour. Had no latency issues. Everything was good.
Nice.
My audio was super low. Got to figure that out. But hey, at least I can make a stream. So I streamed a little bit of Portrait of Ruin. Then while playing Baldur's Gate, I sort of half watched in the background. Melissa watched No Good Deed on Netflix, which is like Ray Romano.
Oh, okay.
And Lisa Kudrow's new one.
Yeah,
yeah,
I've heard
okay.
it's good.
She didn't like it at first, and at the end, she's like, okay, that got a lot better. So Linda Cardellini and Owen Wilson. So it's got a good cast. So it seemed interesting to why I was watching it. Very, very, very dramatic, which isn't always my thing, but very much is hers.
I've heard it's pretty mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty mean.
Yeah, they all kind of just hate each other. Like all the characters. And I mean, I could watch that for a little while, but I'd just lose interest if like they all just are shitty to each other. I mean, I get tired of that after a minute.
Yeah.
I think that's why I just lead more toward comedy more than anything else. That's about it. This week's going to be a rough rest of the week at work because it's the big holiday meal. So we feed the entire hospital for free. So that's a crazy
Oh,
day
yeah,
all
that's
day.
right. Damn.
And then I've got to go to Cincinnati for a Christmas party. But I'll probably take next week off. The daycare's closed, so I'll take next week off and stay with Jack.
I'm off next week. I can't wait.
Me too.
This fucking
All week.
This week, right? Yes. Oh, I got 9 days, and I'm looking forward to that
Me
shit.
too, baby.
I love taking. I mean, you turned me on to this, where
Yeah.
it's like take Christmas through New Year's, just take it off.
I do have to work December 30th and 31st. We only get New Year's Day off.
Oh,
and I
gotcha.
didn't have enough PTO accrued. Plus, a bunch of people didn't take PTO throughout the course of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've got a system in place where it's like use it or lose it.
Sure.
And
Do you get to carry over any of it?
no.
Oh, that
And-
sucks.
And so that everybody's scrambling now. So we're like skeleton crew every single day. And I decided to take the week of Christmas. And I was going to go ahead and do the Monday and Tuesday up to the New Year.
Hell yeah.
But I didn't have enough PTO and too many people were going to be off.
Yeah.
And so I just decided to be the responsible one and just take my 1 week, which
Yeah.
I scheduled months ago. I got ahead of it. So, but no one else did. So we're like, John is out all this week. And I found that out Friday. But I changed jobs too. So he and I don't work in the same department anymore. So it's really kind of their problem. I'm doing everything I can to help, but I'm also training for my new position. And I'm like, sorry, guys, I can't really help much.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, good. I'm glad you're off. I'm glad you're both off. all
Looking
week.
forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
You guys want to talk about some Pink Panthers?
Do.
Nah.
Nah,
No? Okay.
sounds good to me.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
This has been a pretty good episode. What's it been? Oh, it's like 2 hours we did?
Yeah, we're at like definitely more than 46 minutes.
It's pretty good.
34 seconds more than
I mean,
46 minutes.
Look, I'm just saying we could call it.
If you want to, I don't give a shit.
No, I
We can do a
watched.
draft and then call it.
I watched these. I watched 2 movies. I watched the Steve Martin.
Stephen Martin.
God, I'm so used to saying Stephen King in front of this microphone. That just came out.
Yeah.
I watched the Steve Martin one, and then I was like curious what the original was like.
Which one did you watch?
I watched the first one. Nikki and I watched the first
The
one.
one from 1960.
Was it 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. We watched that one.
The Return of the Pink Panther is the best.
I liked the 63 one a lot. I liked it better than the Steve Martin. I liked the Steve Martin one fine, but it was when I was watching, I was like, this movie would be awful if Steve Martin wasn't in it. Steve Martin makes that movie.
He makes that movie and just barely.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan.
Yeah.
I mean, because I liked the Blake Edwards Pink Panther movie so much more.
Yeah.
I was always such a fan of those.
Dude.
They were the comedy and the timing in those movies is second to none. And I wasn't sure if you guys, I wanted to kind of soften the palate a little by suggesting we watch the Steve Martin one. But there's something about those Blake Edwards Pink Panther movies with Peter Sellers. It's just, they are the consummate comedy movies. They were the best.
I've only seen we only watched the one, but I was surprised that I first of all thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't too surprised by. I mean, I like old stuff.
Sure.
And so that wasn't surprised, but like what I was surprised by was like how many sexual jokes there were.
Oh God,
in
they're
it.
so bawdy and ribbled.
Right. Which was like, wow, this is like a 1963 film that like came out in movie theaters.
And
then it's like
they were getting there.
like there's a scene where it's like I looked at Nikki and I was like, do you think they got this? Like, do you think the audience got this joke?
I think
because it's fucking dirty, man.
Enough credit.
Yeah. And she was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they got it. And I was like, I guess I just think that like they were naive in the 60s.
I like the 70s Pink Panther movies the most.
Yeah.
Mainly because they were new still when I was a kid.
Sure.
But Mom and I used to watch them a lot together. And that's I like to attribute my love of that kind of comedy to the Pink Panther, to the Blake Edwards ones. Peter Sellers is a fucking comedy genius. His portrayal of Inspector Clouseau is never, ever going to be... Steve Martin didn't even come close as far as I'm
different.
concerned.
It's very different. Yeah, right.
The way I looked at this movie, because I'd not ever seen this one, the Steve Martin one, and I might watch the second one just to see, because there's 2 of them.
I was tempted to.
But the thing about this movie was, to me, it was like they took the Pink Panther and then tried to combine it with the Naked Gun, and this was their interpretation of the Pink Panther. I didn't hate it, but I didn't laugh when I watched this one. I mean, there was a couple of times where I chuckled a little bit.
Yeah, there were a
Hamburger.
few.
Yeah.
The hamburger scene,
man.
the scene where Steve Martin and John Reno are dancing. They're dressed up like curtains and they're dancing. That actually got me.
Oh,
When they were-
yeah. Oh, well, I laughed when they were in those bodysuits where the front was like...
They were curtains. They were like wallpaper.
But when they're actually like moving through, where they're like the fucking Super Mario World, where like Mario's on the fucking like climbing the fence and kicking the thing to spin around.
there was some chuckle moments.
And I like
in
the
there.
callbacks in it because that fucking globe that he knocks down and goes down the stairs early in the movie comes back later.
Yeah.
I like that.
And-
And then there's like this little like cafe or something, like this street vendor that I can't remember what hits it, but it like explodes into a fireball. There's
I
just
can't
wacky
remember
shit
either.
like that.
And the guy on the bike keeps
Right.
getting hit.
Right.
Keeps getting hurt.
Yeah, and he gets it by that globe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
as soon as I saw Beyonce, that's when I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
well, I have
It's 2006, and we've got really plasticky wooden Beyonce shoehorned into
She looks
stuff.
great.
She
Look-
looked
yeah, she looks
great.
good.
She looks great.
Just
And
like
I
in
didn't expect her to
Goldmember.
sing at the end, out of the blue. It's just like,
Yeah.
man. And then, but watching her in this movie made me realize, like, man, Maya Rudolph's impression of her is so fucking spot on, in just how
It is.
stiff and awkward she is, and
Yeah.
the way she just, except for the one where she's on Hot Ones, but like early Beyonce, whenever she's still like on SNL, like, man, fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah, she seems scared.
She is, and she's the same character in this as she was in Goldmember.
Yep.
I mean, it was the exact thing. She was just didn't have an afro,
Yeah.
but she had a musical number, and it's like we're gonna
The most
let's-
awkward kiss I've ever seen with Jason Statham at
Yeah.
the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And I wanted her and Steve Martin to have just a fucking hard sex scene.
That'd be great.
There's
I
some
loved it.
there's some.
He comes
good,
up with a boner. He actually takes the Viagra. It'd been great.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, the Viagra scene. Yeah, his magic pill.
Oh, my magic pill.
Yeah.
There's some good trivia for this one, if you don't mind. I'd like to go through some of it.
Please.
The cameo appearance of Clive Owen. I don't know if you realized.
I didn't.
This-
006.
The 006
Oh, okay.
can be seen both as a nod to the myth that Clive Owen was to succeed Pierce Brosnan as James Bond in Casino Royale. That was not true, but it was a rumor that he was going to be, instead of the guy that's James Bond now.
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig, thank you. It was going to be Clive Owen, but it really wasn't. It says, is a tribute to Peter Sellers, who played James Bond in the spoof film Casino Royale in 1967. It was a spoof James Bond film called Casino Royale, and Peter Sellers was James Bond.
That's confusing as hell. As someone who has like not watched like James Bond movies, or I've only watched 2 Pink Panther movies, that is hard for me to fucking parse.
I still need to see the spoof Doctor Who where Rowan Atkinson is the Doctor.
Oh.
I've never seen that one.
So, if you watched the 1963 Pink Panther, then you met Kato, right?
Kato?
Is Kato in this one? I don't think I've seen this very first one. His assistant, the Chinese dude.
No.
All right, so
I thought Kato that's the Green Hornet.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
it is, but it's also his
Oh, okay.
assistant
Okay.
in
Gotcha.
The Pink Panther,
Oh.
Kato Fong.
We know this from the Bruce Lee story, the Super Nintendo game.
So, in the 70s movies, so if you remember in this one, in the Steve Martin Pink Panther, at one point when Jean Reno becomes his partner, he says, okay, now to test you, I'm going to randomly attack you.
Right.
And you have to do your best to fend off my attack.
Right.
That's a callback to the original movies from the 70s.
Okay.
So, like, one of the best scenes, I think it's the Pink Panther Returns, or the Return of the Pink Panther.
There's so many of these movies.
There's like 10 of them. He goes, Kato is his assistant, and when Inspector Clouseau goes home to his apartment, Kato will be hiding somewhere in the apartment and will attack him.
Okay.
And they fight, and it's just hilarious the way it all goes down. And they were gonna do that again. They were gonna have Kato as an assistant, and Jackie Chan was gonna be Kato.
Oh,
Oh, that would have been
that would
great.
have been great.
But instead they didn't want to be, because to be fair, Kato from the Pink Panther movies is like super racist.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's like,
Well, they didn't have to do it super racist and
Like, what's his name in
2006.
Breakfast from Tiffany's, like level racist.
Yeah, it was kind of.
Is
like,
it actually an Asian man who plays it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least they got
And
Breakfast
he's
at Tiffany's
hilarious.
there.
Right. But I think they feared there'd be a lot of backlash from that, so that's why they brought in Kato. They replaced Jean Reno with, or they replaced Kato with Jean Reno, aka Ponton.
Leon.
Leon Ponton. The Leon,
The professional.
professional. That's right. Steve Martin had such respect for Peter Sellers that when he was asked to take over the role of Clouseau, he put off the decision to accept it until he had worked out the character's accent. and had run several ideas for scenes past Sean Levy. So, Steve Martin's got a really terrible French accent.
Right.
But Peter Sellers also has a really terrible French accent, and it's clearly a British dude trying to do a British accent or a French accent, much like Kevin Kline, who is really bad.
Yeah.
Really, he kept lapsing into British. He couldn't get it right.
Yeah.
But let's see. When Sony inherited the film,
And Kristen Chenoweth. Every fifth word might have had an accent on it.
yeah, she just didn't even. She wasn't even trying. When
She's
Sony,
not in it much, though.
when Sony inherited the film from its acquisition of MGM, it decided to spend approximately $5 million to reshoot and re-edit the film to tone down or cut explicit contents to get a PG rating. So it kind of goes back to what you were saying. Back then, they were ribald and, randy even.
Yeah.
They tried to cut all that crap out to make it more family friendly. And so that's why it was kind of weak, in my opinion. I think with those, it would have brought it up to the next level for me, if they had done that. Inspector Clouseau entering the motel room with Ponton to discover only one bed to share is a direct tribute to Steve Martin's previous
Planes,
film,
Trains, and Automobiles.
Planes, Trains,
Man,
and
I thought about that
Automobiles.
the first time. I love that. That's an actual thing.
And the ones that it says where Martin's character Neil Page share a bed with Dale Griffith, played by John Candy. Clouseau's pajamas share a striking resemblance to the ones worn by John Candy.
Oh, fuck. I didn't notice
Which is
that.
a neat.
That
that's
is great.
neat.
I love that.
Paul Giamatti was considered for the role of Dreyfus, the chief.
Oh, okay.
That was
Kevin Kline
I like
role.
Paul Giamatti, but I mean, I don't know. I'm sure he would have been fine, but
Gerard Depardieu was the second choice for the role of Ponton.
Fuck me, jumped it. That would have been ridiculous.
that would have been different.
Chris Tucker and Robin Williams were early contenders. Chris Tucker and Robin Williams were early contenders for the role of Inspector Clouseau.
Oh my God, for Clouseau.
Yeah, for
Can you
Clouseau.
imagine?
Let's go to that. I want to visit, do interdimensional cable, and find that timeline where Chris Tucker.
I want the Robin Williams one. I want to see that one.
Yeah. Kevin Spacey, Mike Myers, and Kevin Kline were considered for the role, and then Kline got the role of Dreyfus instead. Ivan Reitman was originally going to direct the film, but chose not to. Blah, 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 blah. There's some good stuff there. I like the callback. Jim Carrey was considered for the part of Clouseau. That might have been pretty good.
I think, I don't know, man. I thought Steve Martin did a really good job. And it's like, I feel like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like anyone who is wilder than Steve Martin would have been really weird.
Just over the top. I
Yeah,
think
like
it
Robin
would have been
Williams or Jim Carrey.
I think it would have been like watching either Mrs. Doubtfire playing Clouseau or Ace Ventura playing Clouseau.
Right.
I agree with
Which
you
I'm not
there.
opposed to watching, but I really do think that Steve Martin, like, if Steve Martin wasn't in this movie, which I already don't think is great, would have been like a whole lot worse.
It's it's entertaining enough, but it's very milquetoast. Like it's
Well, here's a scene that was cut.
Okay.
my youth group would have went to see this.
Who did?
My youth group would have went to see this.
Oh
movie.
yeah. This is a
it's
youth
safe.
group movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
totally.
youth group movie. It's totally safe. The scene at the airport where Clouseau is mistaken for a terrorist was part of a reshoot in Vancouver. In the original scene, Clouseau actually boards the plane where he is taken through 11 different cabins to his seat, a small folding chair with a rope for a seatbelt. When he eats some bad sushi, he rushes to the bathroom, but all of them are occupied. When he reaches the front of the plane, he screams, "Let me in or I'm going to explode," and is promptly tackled by various air marshals. Ultimately, it was decided that the scene was too absurd even for Pink Panther, so
What?
it was cut.
No, that's too absurd.
This was 5 years after 9/11, and I think that's why they cut it. I think they were getting hitting a little too close to home.
Sure.
If you know what I mean.
Too close to Homeland Security.
Too close to Homeland Security. Yes. I made a little list, but not a TADPOG totals list.
Okay.
This is a list of things I learned after watching Pink Panther, here were the things that I learned. Okay. Number one, most of the people in this movie can't do French accents, especially Kevin Kline. At least Steve Martin's accent was an homage, right? Number two, Steve Martin is not always funny. I learned that from this movie. He's not always funny. Number three, Beyonce is not always necessary, but she's always beautiful.
She's very rarely necessary.
But she's always beautiful.
Hell yeah.
The scene where Steve Martin and Jean Reno dance is one of the best things I've ever seen. I love that shit. To see Jean Reno doing that just got me. I was unexpected. And the final thing is I have a huge crush on Emily Mortimer, who plays Nicole, the dark-haired assistant that helps him. Man, I'm really into her. I don't know why, but something about that girl.
I mean, she looks good.
Is just
I'm with it.
really got
Wasn't
my
she on
attention.
30 Rock? Was she the one with bird bones?
I believe
Oh,
so.
shit.
I believe so.
Oh shit!
Don't shake my hand to it. I had bird
Fuck,
bones.
dude. I think you're right.
I think it is her. So she's super cute, and I have a massive crush on her, and she's my age, so it's totally fine. That's it. I just wanted to say those things. Mostly the thing about Beyonce.
Yeah.
I like the movie okay, but I like the originals better.
The hamburger scene, like that hit me because when I went to Paris with my French class and went to McDonald's, I had a really hard time ordering a hamburger. So that was like a wow. And it's like if this movie had come out before I went to Paris, they might have thought I was doing a bit. But it was a fucking struggle. So yeah, that one was especially like, okay, I felt like that was crafted for me.
Well, and then he said, what have you got in your coat? That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Because the dog was barking at him.
And whenever he makes fun
Yeah.
of that Russian dude's accent, like
Right,
after that.
yeah.
One of the things I thought was great. I love the ending. I thought the ending was super fun and happy. One of the things I love the most is he says, wait a minute, how could you possibly know that? And he looks over at Ponton and he says, well, you were there. And then it cuts to the Chinese
lady.
woman.
Right.
Of course I speak Chinese.
Oh, everybody's standing around the water cooler talking about how Inspector Clouseau can't speak Chinese. I can speak Chinese. I don't understand. Then you think he's just covering up and but he can't speak it. He understood everything she said. He said, could you read that back to me? Dude, it's like,
It's an amazing callback because
Yeah.
like not only that, but it's like a joke inside a joke because that whole thing starts out with him confusing you. Because he's like, round up every you. Because like I can't remember exactly how they got there, but it's like instead of calling somebody by their name, they're called you.
Right.
And Clouseau takes that to mean, okay, round up every you and we'll interrogate them. And then, it cuts to a Chinese woman, an old Chinese woman, which I thought was funny. I thought I was like, that's a good joke.
it is.
That's a good joke. And also, how brave.
Very.
And then for it to come back at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
For her to ramble off and he goes into that whole thing and you're like, he's just,
He's full of shit.
covering up his insecurity and, whatever.
Yeah.
But it turns out he really did understand everything she was saying. It was good.
Yeah.
That was a good bit. There was a lot of good jokes like that in this movie and a lot of good timing, and it was clearly well written and it was a lot of fun, but it was a little bit, I would have liked for it to have been a little bit more mature.
It's a little kiddie.
Yeah.
Yeah. This would be a really super hard one for me to truly recommend to anyone.
I wish they could have stuck with the format that the originals had established already and taken it even further along, because how audience tastes tend to get a little bit more extreme as time goes on.
Right.
You know, that kind of stuff you saw in that movie was just the absolute pinnacle of dirty.
It could be not another
know.
Pink Panther movie.
Right.
You know?
Right. There you go.
They could go that route. Or like Clouseau like fucking ejaculates onto the ceiling of a public restroom.
Why not? We should just do it. It's classy. We could do that. But
I'd like to masturbate, Mr. Big.
I'm gonna give this one 3 stars. Wasn't Safe says check it out. It was a pretty good time. It's a good way to kill an hour and a half. It's not long. It's not a long movie.
It felt longer than it is.
It
does feel
this one
long.
more
It's one of
so
those.
burnt me out. Made me be like, I'm ready to stop doing movie games and watch a movie a week.
We got one more.
I've
more,
never
baby.
watched this many movies in my life.
One more, and you've already seen this one.
That's true.
But we did also say we were going to do a game based on the Pink Panther.
We did.
And so here we are.
So we played Pink Goes to Hollywood.
Yeah.
A Super Nintendo game developed by Manley Associates, which is a name that's usually when I hear, I'm like, uh-oh. Oh, no.
Manly, huh?
I'm trying to think the last game that they did that we covered. Give me a second. I'll get there.
I remember because whenever SNES Drunk said the same thing when I watched his video over it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen
He
it.
said
I
Manly
wasn't chomping
Associates,
his bit.
and he said, he said the name, and I also can't remember it right now. Another game that we talked about, and I'm like, oh fuck. Oh, I don't remember what it is now. If you want me to say it, or
Yeah,
if you want to
say it.
It's the Knights of the Round. The Knights of the Round Table based off the Saturday morning cartoon. That
King
we did.
Arthur and the
King
Knights of
Arthur and the
Justice.
Knights of
Yeah.
Justice.
Yeah.
Also, Wild Snake.
Which Wild Snake.
I mean,
It's okay.
it's all right. I'm with Wild
yep.
Snake a little bit. They did The Wizard of Oz for SNES, which is one where it's like
I was here for that one. I was here for the other one too. I think.
Well, not as nearly as bad as people say it is.
better than Pink Goes to Hollywood,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah. Yes.
It really was.
Yes. Hard agree.
They did a bunch of MS-DOS games before that. Like Home Alone, they did the MS-DOS version of Home Alone, the MS-DOS version of An American Tail, the computer adventures of Fievel and his friends. Paperboy 2, they did the Game Gear port. So that's kind of Home Alone 2, they did the MS-DOS version.
Oh no! I thought. Oh no!
Oh, I don't think Home Alone 2 is going to be a great experience.
No, it's not.
it's
No,
not.
no.
We'll have fun with the movie.
But Home Alone
Yeah.
1 was so good.
Yeah, I am curious what's better, Home Alone 2 or Home Alone 1. But the Pink Panther is a platforming action video game where you play as the Pink Panther.
not the diamond, the cat.
Right. Yeah, not the diamond, the cat.
Not the horrible looking prop diamond.
The Pink Panther in the original movies was way cooler.
and it had
David
a
and
and
I both decided. We all decided
We
to
just
take a
drank at the
drink
same time.
Same time.
and the original had a beautiful adult princess in
Yes,
it.
it did.
Yeah, you play as the cat, the cartoon character.
Yeah.
Which, when I was a kid, was really the only reason I was interested in the Pink Panther movies at all.
Until you found out that he's only there for the opening credits.
Right. And then I would go, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the cartoon opening would be over, and I'd be like, this looks old and boring.
Yeah.
And I would skip out.
Sure.
And then, I don't know, did you guys watch the cartoons of
Yeah,
Pink
I did.
Panther?
Yeah.
Yep.
They have like a real,
Elmer Fudd, Bugs Bunny
yeah.
vibe. Kinda,
Yeah. And a real distinct style
There's
to
a
them.
cat and mouse kind of deal.
Which I think that style of those cartoons is probably the best thing that's carried over in this game. I think the best thing about this game is that it, to me, looks very much like the cartoons, and they decided to go with that like mod 60s style of illustration, like for the background, a lot of the backgrounds and stuff. Not all of it, but some of it. Like there's a level, like there's a Wild West level, and there's a mine cart section, and in the background, all of the torches are done in that like blob of color shape, and then a line drawing inside it kind
Yeah.
of deal, which is neat that they did that. And then the rest of the game I absolutely hated.
Yeah. Well, I've got an email. I did too. I didn't play it for very long, and
I got 3 levels in. It was just like,
you got 3
fuck.
levels in.
Well, there's a hub world, you see.
There's a hub world, which I found out the hard way. I didn't know, and then I got I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I do have I've got some talking points in the form of a letter, an email from Brad.
Perfect.
If you'd like me to read that.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Brad writes, "Hi all.
Hello, Brad.
Frosted brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tart kid here. Usually my breakfast from preschool through high school. Sometimes we'd switch it up with frosted strawberry or cherry, but it's usually brown sugar cinnamon, toasted. As an adult, I prefer the entire box in one sitting, untoasted, which is why I never buy Pop-Tarts anymore. Brad, you and I have that in common, my
I could eat a
friend.
whole box of s'mores Pop-Tarts without fucking blinking.
Me too. I could eat
that's
an entire box of brown sugar cinnamon
1,200
or
calories. Boom.
unfrosted strawberries just without even thinking about it.
I like thinking of, like, since he said toasted, the way that he wrote toasted in that letter is just, I can't get, like, I'm reading that in my mind as like Love Shack. Brown cinnamon sugar. Toasted.
This is true. Tin roof, toasted. We went through a toaster strudel phase as well, but in my experience, these are pretty much impossible to get right. They're either cold in the middle or molten hot lava. This may be an equivalent issue or skill issue. Or equipment issue or skill issue, to be fair.
Have you seen the subreddit where a photograph is posted of a toaster strudel and you're supposed to decide whether or not somebody came on it or if it's the frosting?
I have not seen that. I'll have to look for that one. Brad continues, if you want to talk Cheez-It flavors, I can do an entire treatsy on that. Maybe I'll save that for next week. Well, Brad, tell us about Cheez-Its with your Home Alone email. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, next week.
Brought to you by Cheez-Its.
Brad continues, The Pink Panther, in all caps, reviewed by Lance Boyle.
Yeah.
Get it?
I get it.
In November 1993 Game Pro, this game shows a price of just $39.95.
Oh,
Making it a budget title
Okay,
if that
well,
price
hey,
is accurate.
that honestly,
For a brand new game.
that might. Okay, my opinion on this, I still don't like the game, but now it's softened. Suddenly it's
Yeah.
like, oh, this was released as a budget
they
title.
knew.
Right.
They knew. Yeah.
They knew what they had.
But I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. With modern day games, I treat like a $30 game way differently than I do a $70
Yeah,
game. Like, I go in with
absolutely.
a completely different expectations.
Pink Goes to Hollywood, the Super NES Pro review by Lance Boyle. Get ready for a very pink Christmas, gamers, with this fine SNES cart diving into the 16-bit pool alongside the new Genesis Pink Panther. Come Christmas morning, kids everywhere will be happily humming Henry Mancini's famous theme song.
It's a good theme song.
Next
Great.
section, Feline Groovy.
Oh,
Ooh,
I like that.
feeling it, feline it.
I am feeling it.
When Pink hits Hollywood, he immediately leads a chase through MGM Studios with Clouseau and all kinds of nutty enemies in pursuit. Pink bops enemies' heads, squirts them with blasts of pink. Yep, just
Yeah.
pink.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just
right.
pink.
He's
It's
got
just
like a
true. It's like a bug sprayer.
bug sprayer.
Old timey bug sprayer.
Yeah.
with
Donkey Kong 3 style.
pink. Doesn't look like it has much of a range, but it's enough. It gets the job done, and it's unlimited ammo, which is nice.
That's nice.
And pulls endless surprises from his bag of tricks as he tries to escape.
This I didn't like.
A side note, though,
I didn't like his bag of tricks.
I never got anything out of
I
it.
didn't like this whole mechanic of like you got to collect coins
And then put them in the box.
and then you put the coins in the toll box, and then whatever item that you have selected activates. That's
I didn't know that.
yeah, and that's how you like access different areas. Is
because like you put the coin in and like stairs will open.
Right.
Where there were no stairs.
Right.
Or something. It gives you the way to get in.
Right.
Yeah. And you know what? I didn't figure this out till I had died all of my lives out the first time.
It's not
And
intuitive
takes
at all.
It takes you to the continue screen, and if you want to continue, have to do the action of put the coin in the box, and then the steps appear to walk up to the continue
I just
door.
restarted because I also didn't know.
And I figured that out, and I was like, oh, wait, this is a mechanic in the game. But I still didn't know about the bag of tricks.
Yeah, it's not intuitive. I had to like find the instruction manual to figure that out. Yeah. I don't feel like the game does a good job of.
I mean, I got 3 levels in, and I never used a toll box. But if I died all my lives, I just restarted because I didn't know I was supposed to do that to get to the continue part.
Yeah, even when you figure it out, though, it doesn't help. And it doesn't make the game better.
Right, and I would never continue because it's like, oh, fuck it. I'll just play a different level. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I'll just go back to the hub world and play a different level. My goal isn't to beat this game. My goal is to see it and play as much of it as I can, yeah.
Lance Boyle continues. One of the things, though, he doesn't continue because I was going to say, one of the things I did like, first of all, you only get 2 hits.
It's
2 hits and you're dead.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that you've got full health because you got a hat on.
It is crazy how long it took me to fucking realize.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, yes.
You're full health. If you're in the West world, you've got a cowboy hat.
A pink hat. Yeah, pink cowboy hat.
And when you get hit the first time, you lose your hat.
Yep.
And then if you get hit again, you fucking die.
So it's like Mario rules, which I can.
If you like supersize Mario,
I can respect that. But what Mario does is constantly has you chasing those power ups so that you don't die. And I feel like Pink Goes to Hollywood. I never ever found an extra hat.
I did once.
Oh my god!
I found one hat.
In the Robin Hood level. I found an extra one.
Fuck, man! But.
You had to work for it, though. When it was in the Old West one is where I found it, and I went into the saloon. And you walk through the saloon, and if you stop, you get hit with a bottle. But if you just manage to walk straight, just keep walking and don't stop, eventually you'll see a little pink hat floating up there, and you get it. And if you can continue through the rest of the bar without getting hit, you're good.
You can leave with a hat.
You can leave with the hat.
Otherwise, you die.
And you may as well have just not gone in there to begin with because there's nothing else in there to have.
But in Mario, it feels like in a level, you're constantly shuffling where it's like, oh, I'm regular Mario. I'm Super Mario. I'm regular Mario. I'm Super Mario. Mm-hmm. And it feels like in a game like Super Mario Brothers, it feels like, I've got a shot. But like in Pink Panther, when I don't have a hat, it's like I'm gonna die.
Oh yeah, like, you get hit by stuff off screen constantly.
Off screen shit. I hate that.
It's like in the Robin Hood level, like there are these little squirrels just 4 screens up, dropping shit on you to hit you.
Yeah.
Like I'll just be walking along and then like an acorn. They're not anywhere close to me.
And another thing that's super frustrating to me is, Ian, you were talking about walking into that saloon.
And
there is a run button in this game, but it's so frustrating because it's like I can't use it because anytime I do, it's like I'm guaranteed to get hit by a tumbleweed or like some kind of meatball, some kind of bullshit. And it's like it's like the game is forcing me to go strolling through it,
which is even worse. It made even worse by the fact that you could just walk for 5 screens and see nothing.
In the background just repeats.
It's like watching a chase scene in Scooby-Doo.
Yeah,
just keeps going
at half speed,
and on and on and on. There's in the part where I told you where I found the pink hat. There was nothing in that room. It was just a corridor with bottles flying at me, and occasionally you jump up to get something that was up there, but there was nothing to do except just walk. Just walk. Press right to not die, I guess, is all it was. It was rough.
I feel like I watched SNES Drunk review this, and I feel like he nailed it comparing it to Roadrunner Death Valley Rally, to where you're really big and it's like it wants you to go fast, but you can't go fast, and you're doing weird platforming where you're the wrong size. And
agreed.
It felt a lot like when he said that, I was like, shit, that's it. Because Pink Panther, you're fucking big, and you do this weird slow reaching jump, and you're supposed to dash, and
there are segments where like you are supposed to dash, where it's like the end of the Wild West level where there are just like there are 12 cows that you have to platform on, and they're just spaced, evenly spaced. But like the way it works is like your jump is like your standing jump is a little too short to make it, and your running jump is so fucking wild that it's like you're likely to overshoot.
It's Beauty and the Beast again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The review continues. The adventure winds through various pinkified movie sets, including Polter Pink, Pinkenhood, Cat on a Not Pink Roof, and Pinkenstein. Toll gates provide magic carpets, bridges, flying umbrellas, and other colorful connectors between levels. In addition to the puns, if you ever want to talk Lance Boyle, in addition to the puns, mild sight gags lurk around every corner. There's a lot to uncover and enjoy in Mr. Pink's neighborhood.
A weird level where it's in like a big thing of pink lemonade. I
didn't see that one. I got inside the refrigerator, which
Yeah.
I thought was like, that was an odd one. And then there's a level inside the level. Inside the refrigerator, you can go inside a turkey. And then that level was like, holy shit. That's when I messaged you guys and was like, this game gives me like Ghosts and Goblins vibes.
That hard. It is that hard for easily. And there's so many levels. It's just, I don't see how anyone plays through this whole thing. The next section is entitled Pink Rocker. In this game, you'll hear the Panthers theme music a few jillion times. Fortunately, it's been appropriately revised for each level, as exemplified by the enchanting medieval arrangement, Sherwood Forest. There's a supplemental music, too, like the bouncy honky-tonk piano that plays for the Western-themed Pink Ranger. Music works with the clear, clever sound effects to earn this cart the highest sound rating possible. I did like the sounds in this game.
I was
thought they
fine
were
with them.
good.
Yeah, I mean, I like the
Music
music.
was good.
Yeah, I like the music.
Sound was milquetoast, but it was the music itself was groovy.
Yeah, I like the music. What I didn't like about the sound was because I was getting hit by so much shit off screen that I wish the sound was used. Never in my life have I been playing a game been more aware of the sound design in this game is Pink Panther's in a mine cart, so it should sound like a mine cart as opposed to like, hey, we should use audio to let the player know what's going on or like and what to expect.
Yeah.
It's like it's backwards. It's not designed. It's just kind of like he is a minecart. So yeah, minecart noises.
Pink's just as good graphically. The dazzling colors, detailed backgrounds, and fluid movements will make you think you're playing a Technicolor cartoon. Pink moves, climbs, runs, and jumps with a nimble, easy-to-control grace. I've found that the controls in this weren't great, but they were better than some of the ones we've had recently.
we have played much worse.
It's weird playing this right after Toy Story because, like, to me, the platforming felt very much like Toy Story.
Very similar, and it was sized the same.
Right. And I think that's a lot of it. And
Yeah.
it also because, you start out with Honey, I Shrunk the Pink. And you're like fucking Woody in a house.
Exactly. I also thought the graphics were good. I thought the sprites looked good. They looked true to the subject matter. You know, I liked it graphically.
And I thought the personality was correct too, because Pink is just kind of like
Chill.
he's chill and like not stressed out about any of this shit at all.
The next section in the Pink, if there's a missing link to Pink, it's the gameplay. Pink's Bag of Tricks adds a new dimension to the hop and bop gameplay, and the levels do get harder as you progress, but it's still a relatively basic game. A wider variety of weapons and the ability to shoot on the run would have made this a faster, better game. I agree, having to stop to fire your pink mist or whatever it is. I didn't like that. And also only shooting in one direction.
Right.
Fortunately, most of the enemies are at that level,
Right.
so you don't have to like.
They don't fuck with you
they
too
don't
bad
come
there.
at you from above.
But then
really.
it's also like the prehistoric level. They set up these situations where it's like you have to be patient. I don't like it when games do that, where especially in a platformer where you're dying a lot and having to start over, and it's like, cool, all right, I gotta wait for these two dinosaurs to do their thing. All right. And I'm just sitting there for like 3 seconds and it's like, okay, now I can go.
Yeah, it just fucks with the flow of the game,
bad pacing.
you know. Let's see. Basically, only young players and novices will find this game challenging and delightful.
I thought it was difficult.
It's fucking hard as shit.
That's bullshit.
I thought it was
Lance.
difficult.
Lance, you're wrong. Pink Goes
Pink's
to
paid by Big
Hollywood.
Hollywood. Yeah.
Pink Goes to Hollywood is a perfect cart for younger fans and gamers and fans of the cartoon. With Sylvester and Tweety looming on the horizon, Tech Magic's about to corner the market on great cartoon-based games. For now, though, think Pink. I love how he goes, Sylvester and Tweety, guys, it's coming. Get ready.
Bye.
It's gonna it's gonna shut down the industry, y'all.
Hot cart.
Just imagine Sylvester and Tweety. They're wearing jeans and backwards hats and they're on shirts. It's coming.
Pink Goes to Hollywood. This Panther's in the pink and having imaginative movie studio fun. Varied graphics and sly humor abound through the gameplay, though the gameplay gets repetitious. A 5 for graphics, a 5 for sound, a 3.0 for control, 4.0 for fun factor. This game was rated as intermediate for the challenge level and was retail price $40, $39.95 at your local Toys R Us in 1993.
From what I saw
Thank you,
online,
Brad.
Yes, thank you, Brad. From what I saw online, it reviewed pretty well.
Yeah,
So let's keep that in mind for Flopsy.
I could see how it would have gotten. I didn't hate it, but I'm not gonna. I mean,
It felt like to me. It felt like it's one of those games that felt like a chore to play.
100%.
It did. If you had time to kill, and maybe it'd be fine.
In 1993,
Yeah.
sure.
Exactly. But yeah, that's about it. It's a Pink Panther.
Do you guys have any achievements?
I do have a few.
What you got?
Falling back to my old ways. My achievements for the Pink Panther are variations of the title. The first one is On the Brink Panther.
Nice.
To get on the Brink Panther, jump off the edge of the Old West map thinking you can walk up to the incline to the minecart and die.
Yeah, cool. All right, I unlocked
Got
that.
that one? I got it twice.
Homie, I got tricked by this game a lot.
Lots of fucking dirty tricks in this fucking game. My next achievement is Drink Panther. And to get Drink Panther, you play this game after having had a few drinks, thinking it would make the experience less painful, and realize that it in fact does not.
Full disclosure,
I was drunk.
I was inebriated when I played this game.
Were you too?
Yeah.
Good for you. We were both drunk. We both got Drink Panther.
So,
The achievement, Drink Panther,
yeah.
that I just made up yesterday.
Yeah, we didn't plan it.
My last achievement is 2 in the pink, 1 in the Stink Panther. And to get 2 in the pink, 1 in the Stink Panther, you turn off the game after using all your lives and continues twice.
Nice.
I burned through it and I was like, nah. Got it. Got what I need. Had enough.
I have a similar achievement, which is 1 in the pink, 12 in the stink, which is to unlock 1 in the pink, 12 in the stink, successfully finish 1 of the 13 levels.
Okay. That's better. I like that one.
My second achievement is you're what the French call les incompetents. In order to unlock you're what the French call les incompetents, you in the options menu set your lives to 5 and still fail to complete more than 1 level.
Got it. I got that one.
Girl, same. My next and last achievement is I would like to take a look at your bowls.
Yo, beat grass balls.
In order to unlock, I would like to take a look at your bowls. You die by meatball in the refrigerator. There's a lot of meatballs in the refrigerator, you see. You got any achievements, Tyler?
I've got 3. First one, we ain't got no tolls, we ain't got no rolls. You unlock that by not paying any of the tolls.
Can't get in the boys' hole.
Opposite of Team Fortress, you unlock that by finishing a level with no hats. And then Chosen of Melissa, which I picked that because I thought his attack was a perfume bottle. Looked like he was spraying perfume. So play the game and never use that item because Melissa doesn't like perfume cologne, never wears it.
Okay.
So, and I unlocked that because I didn't know that was even a fucking option until I watched a playthrough. And I was like, oh, there's actually an attack.
Yeah.
I was just running and jumping on shit.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I think jumping on them's the better way to go, honestly.
Because you don't have to hope that you hit them at
Yeah.
the right time when they're hitbox before they get into yours.
And the range on that sprayer is not good.
It's minuscule.
Yeah, it's not good.
Oh, and then pink, beware the ROUS, which is as soon as you start the game, there are giant rats coming for Pink
actually,
Panther.
the Pink Panther has shrunk down, so these are rodents of normal size. I'm sorry.
That's a good Saul Rosenberg.
Oh, no, that was my Discord voice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I call that Discord voice.
Tyler, that's your fourth or fifth ROUS.
Now let's see if Home Alone can bring it
Bring
around.
it on. Bring
Yeah,
it on.
baby.
I want to see what Flopsy has to say about it.
Hell yeah.
Hell
What do
yeah.
you guys think?
I think Flopsy's going to give this one 3 stars.
3 was the number that was on my mind as well.
Okay.
And I'll be honest with you, if it's 3.5, I won't be surprised.
Shit. I'll go with you guys. I'll go with
I
3.
mean, they're going to like the graphics. They're going to like
The graphics are
sound.
good.
They are good. It's
The graphics are good.
Listen, I'm willing to go up a half star.
I think
I'm feeling adventurous. I don't have a problem with it.
The
I
only
will
reason I'm
remark that last time we argued over not argue, but thought about it and went with the extra half star. Turns out we were right the first time. So now
let's just keep it 3.
3.
Let's live and learn. Keep it at 3.
Okay,
Live and learn, get loves.
that's
Keep
what
it
I was
3.
going to
Yeah.
say.
Laugh a little.
I can't hear live and learn and not say and then get loves.
Yep.
What do you think the availability of this is? Common?
I'd say-
Uncommon?
I'd say this was probably common. I think they were shooting for the younger audience. The price point is bound to have made it a pretty enticing purchase.
These cartoons are popular.
And the
so-
cartoons were popular. I'd say common would be pretty
3 stars common.
Pretty good. 3 stars common.
Talking about kids and like it being popular, man, Henry popped out when Nikki and I started watching the Pink Panther. I wasn't even about to be like, "Hey, Henry, do you want to watch this movie that when I was your age had nothing, didn't want to have anything to do with, and didn't have like fucking video games on tap ready to roll? You know, like I didn't have as many options as you, son." So I didn't even mention it to him. And then like he came running out of his room and he's like, "Is that the Pink Panther?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know about the Pink Panther like from the theme song,
Right.
That's just how I don't know, man. That's
It's like, yeah, it's a
powerful
Fortnite
these
skin.
songs. Oh man, I'd buy that.
I'd
love
buy
to be the Pink Panther.
That would be fun.
Especially if his guns are like replaced with like bag of tricks shit. I'd love to like dab as the Pink Panther with a fucking
to
umbrella.
the theme song.
Right?
Has him dabbing to the
I saw a video today of somebody cut together. They were playing as Fry from Futurama in Fortnite, and they had all the dances. They were playing a song, and they had all the dances that would like match up with the song, and it just goes for like 4 fucking minutes of like this
Nice.
dude dancing as Fry in from Futurama in Fortnite, which I didn't know was a thing. I'm sad that I don't have that.
I didn't know either. That's a good one.
So Common, we're thinking.
Yeah.
For Pink Panther.
Okay.
Pink goes to Hollywood.
I think so.
3 stars, Common. According to Flopsy, aka the ultimate Nintendo guide to the SNES library, 1991 through 1998 by Pat Contry, courtesy of Monster Mole Mike, and a shadowy, mysterious benefactor.
How many copies of this game do you have, Dave?
0. I don't own it. Would you like to change the answer of the availability?
'Cause I've never seen this in the wild.
I haven't either.
You don't own a copy.
Uncommon. I say we go with uncommon.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uncommon?
I got to thinking about it. I'm like, nah, I don't know.
Okay. 3 stars, Uncommon.
Okay.
According to Flopsy,
It'll be 3.5.
Pink
Common.
goes to Hollywood. Availability, Uncommon.
I pulled that
Well
one out
done.
at the last minute.
Rating, star rating. 2.5 stars.
I think they were being a little hard on the old Pink Panther.
For Flopsy.
For Flopsy.
For Flopsy, yeah.
Personally, I would have given it maybe 2.
The only reason I went 3 was because I
They
thought
go high.
Flopsy was, Flopsy
they
skews
skew
high.
Okay. We're still a half star off.
Yep.
Next time we go a half star down again from where.
We'll just fine tune it, baby.
get it.
We'll just
We'll get
fine tune it. We'll lock it in.
All right. Well, next week, Home Alone
2.
2, Electric Boogaloo.
That's the one where Kevin is dreaming and the entire game takes place in a dream.
Oh yeah.
Tyler,
Yes, Dave.
if you were to give this game a beard that sums up how you feel about it, what beard, why?
I would give it the beard of the bear that savagely mauls Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant.
Hell yeah.
Because this panther mauled my fun for this game.
Okay. This makes sense. Tyler,
Yes, Dave.
what glasses, why glasses?
The glossy eyes of the bear at the end of Midsummer when he's in the burning TV.
Okay.
So double bad bear glasses.
Double
I love
bad
it.
Bear glasses.
Big bear chase me.
What's a panther if not a skinny bear?
A skinny bear. Science actually has figured out panthers are skinny bears.
Yeah, skinny bear.
Zoologist stunned.
Panthers actually bears. More news at 11.
Bear stock goes up. It's a bear market, you see.
Nice.
So yeah, so we got to know what we're doing next week. I think that's about all we got. So thanks for listening, everybody. Find this show on iTunes, not SoundCloud, not Stitcher, but on Spotify, YouTube, Google, all over the goddamn place. Lots of stuff going on, but most importantly, we have that Patreon.
This has been
Hell
a
yeah.
journey, Tyler, and I'm really proud of you for watching all these movies.
God, I've never in my life.
I'm really proud of you.
Year
for
40
doing
has been
this.
the year of the movie.
I'm going to go back to being completely useless once we stop watching movies every week.
I was thinking about it today, and I was like, I honestly do not know what this show is going to be like without us talking about movies. And
More
it's like,
drafts.
and it's like, I guess we'll take calls or something.
I guess. Let's just do that, I guess.
Otherwise, they are going to be 50-minute episodes. Which, I mean, hey,
Let's go home early every week for the next several months. Patreon is a thing of which we are a part in the form of you can donate us money at patreon.com/TADPOG.
yeah,
We have bonus content there. Limited edition bonus content that we're never going to ever do any more of.
yeah.
As
Disclaimer.
as we have discovered, the more bonus content we do, the more listeners we lose, and the more
The less money
donations
we make.
we
Yeah.
get. So for $1 a month, you can listen to that bonus content, and you can know that you're contributing to this fine artisanal podcast that we craft from scratch every single week, just because we like to do it.
Hell yeah.
And also because we like the money. We have a list of executive producers. They give us $20 or more per month. I said last week I was going to check that list to make sure it was accurate. As far as I know, these people aren't giving us anything. But as far as my list is concerned, they're giving us $20 or
Hell
more
yeah.
per month.
The list is spoken.
The list is correct. It is, and this is it. Cubicle Monkey, Gamebug Prime, Nathan Eaton, Matt Gentile, aka Gentle G, Pinball Airplane Archmage, Chris Edler. Sorry you couldn't be on this episode. Derek Pope Sandwich, Burger Bottom, Jeff Miners. Congratulations on your marriage. Drinksmith Joey Webster, Sandwich Pope Phil Hawkins, Louisville correspondent Princess Consuela Banana Hammock Flavor Trick likes to cook grilled cheese with mayo. Taryn Dahl, Canadian Turbo Nerd Thomas, and Treff Dietrich. Thank you all so much for your generosity. And that is thank you to all of our donors, not just our executive producers. Your donations really do help. It is wonderful to receive that money each month. It helps us a lot in our personal lives and also to help get things for the show and stuff like that. So,
And it gives us this image of like that we're succeeding in some way.
exactly.
Which is nice.
It is nice. It feels good to know that people just want to give us money because they like what we do.
Yeah.
So thank you very, very much for that. You have our eternal gratitude. And also thanks, as always, to Brad from Arizona for your letter. We look forward to reading whatever you have to write to us about Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, which is next week, the day before Christmas. No. Christmas.
Yeah.
Our show will come out on Christmas next week.
Our present to you.
Hey, perfect. We timed this just right.
Just
We
right.
did. We did.
Completely on purpose and not at all on accident.
Close to on purpose. It was close
We
to
did
on, it
say
was
we
close
were
to
going
on
to try to
purpose.
get close to Christmas.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize this one was going to hit
Couldn't
on
get
Christmas.
any closer.
We're just that good, baby.
We are that good. We've
We're
just
that
been doing
good.
it so long, it just comes natural.
Swish, right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
exactly. Flawless victory. Then I'm going to message you guys Sunday and be like, y'all, I don't want to do this.
and you know what? I'd be
take
like,
calls.
okay, it's fine. Tyler's at his breaking point clearly. So yeah, let's just do calls.
You can do this. You can do this, Tyler. I know you can.
I'm trying to think what all movies, no games make Tyler something.
Go crazy.
Don't mind if I do. So our theme song is Moves of Seymour Drive. A link to that track in the show notes at tadpog.com. Hey, you guys want to close it out?
As the Pink Panther.
He does talk in one of the cartoons, though.
What's he sound like? Let's see what we think he sounds like.
I forget.
Okay, we can do that.
Some
I
voice
was gonna
actor does do his
say we
voice.
just be silent, but we could do that, or we could do Clouseau, whatever you want.
Oh, yeah. I like that one. I
Do
like
Clouseau.
Clouseau.
Let's do Clouseau.
Okay. So until next time.
Tropical hamburger.
That's pretty good.
TADPOG is hosted and produced by Tyler Holland, Dave Moore, and Ian Chandler, and releases new episodes every Wednesday. You can find them on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and just about anywhere else podcasts are hosted. If you have a question or comment for the hosts, don't hesitate to call us at 270-883-2555 and leave us a voicemail. If we like it, we'll play it on the show and respond. If you'd like to send us something, you can do so at TADPOG Studios, care of Nicole Nance, P.O. Box 3785, Paducah, Kentucky 42002. If you'd like to donate to the show, visit patreon.com/tadpog, and with a minimum donation of $1 per month, you will get access to all of our fun bonus content. Join the conversation on our Discord server at bit.ly/tadpogdiscord. Registration is free, and we'd love to have you there. If you enjoy our show and haven't already, don't forget to find and tap that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Okay, we're going.
Okay, so Pink Panther did have one series where he had a voice. In the 1993 version, he was voiced by Matt Frewer, who was, and I know we've talked about his most iconic voice acting role. So Pink Panther and Max Headroom are both have the same voice actor.
The first VTuber.
The first
Max
YouTuber.
Headroom.
First VTuber.
Yeah. I had like a fucking broadcast takeover, which I didn't get to experience live, but I wish I had.
I've heard so much about it, but I'm not familiar at all with Max Headroom.
I loved him when I was a kid, for sure.
Me too. Let's see. Pink Panther cartoon voice.
2 seasons.
What if he sounded exactly like Max Headroom?
And then the little man, the antagonist, was Wallace Shawn.
What?
Yeah. The dog father, Joe Piscopo.
What?
Here they all are. This is about a minute or so.
animals.
That's Rich Little. Rich Little.
Where the deuce is that good-for-nothing valet?
Golf gear coming right up, gentlemen.
Who's that?
Matt Frewer.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay. So that's the Pink Panther?
Tip?
Mr. Dilute will give you a tip.
Not what I would have.
Snow tires in winter, you loser!
Hey, I see Rocket on your phone.
The only difference between me and those millionaire snobs is a decent set of golf clubs.
That's him. I could hear it there.
Yeah.
Sending me to a summer camp? Not
Michael
just any
Center-
summer camp, you
Center
oblivious
Nicholas.
gargoyle. Camp Chiliwawa. Chili whoa-wah?
That sounds like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Don't get so upset,
Jaleel
Inspector.
White?
If anything goes wrong, if the children are the least bit unhappy,
Their influential parents will go nuts.
their countries will be outraged.
World peace down the.
That sounded like AI.
Really
It
did.
did.
None of those cartoons sound particularly entertaining
No.
at all.
So those were three different Pink Panther
Three different
cartoons?
Pink Panther voices. Yes.
Oh, okay.
But the middle one was Max Headroom. And
One
I
of
could
them-
hear it towards the end of
Right,
that second
sure.
clip. I heard his voice
When it,
then.
like, goes up.
Sounded like him. Yeah.
Well, one of those sounded like it would have been like Clouseau or something.
Yeah, it had to have been. There was also apparently a movie or something, a Pink Panther animated called Lifestyles of the Pink and Famous.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, I do not remember that, but I saw the little clip of it. But yeah, Pink Panther as Max Headroom.
Yep.
Max Headroom as Pink Panther coming to a theater near you.